You don't notice it at first. Your cat still walks the same way, soft paws, quiet steps, that familiar little glance they give you before settling into their favorite spot. Everything looks normal, peaceful even, but something is off. Something you can't quite see, but they can feel every single day. Last week, I spoke to hundreds of cat owners who swore they were doing everything right. They bought the best food, the nicest toys, the cutest little litter box tucked neatly into a corner of their home. They thought they were creating comfort, but almost all of them were making the same mistake. And it was slowly driving their cats into silent stress. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet discomfort, building, day after day. It starts with something so small you'd never question it. The size of the litter box. You look at it and think, that's enough. It fits in the space. It looks tidy. It seems practical. But imagine this for a second. Imagine being forced to use a bathroom so small you can barely turn around. Your shoulders brushing the walls. Your body tense, cramped, unable to move freely. No comfort. No space. Just pressure. That's your cat's reality. They step in, pause, adjust, try to make it work. But their body is telling them something isn't right. That tight space doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel natural. And slowly, without you realizing it, they begin to associate that moment, that simple, necessary moment, with stress. You thought you were saving space. But to them, it feels like a trap. And then comes something even more surprising. Privacy. You probably believe your cat wants to be hidden, tucked away, completely covered while they do their business. It feels respectful, right? Like giving them their own little private room. But to your cat, it's terrifying. Because the moment that lid goes on, their world disappears. They can't see what's around them. They can't sense movement. They can't plan an escape if something goes wrong. And in that vulnerable position, when their guard is already down, that blindness becomes fear. A deep, instinctive fear. They step inside, hesitate, their body stiffens. Every sound becomes louder. Every shadow feels closer. Their heart races just a little faster. Not because anything is actually there, but because they don't know if something is. And for a creature built on instinct, that uncertainty is everything. Now think about your older cat. The one who doesn't jump as high anymore. The one who takes a little longer to stand up. The one who still looks at you with the same love, but moves just a little slower than before. To you, those high walls on the litter box seem like a good idea. They keep things clean. They stop the mess. But to them, it's a mountain. Every single time they need to go, they have to climb. Push through stiffness. Fight through discomfort. Sometimes even pain. And they don't complain. They don't cry out. They just hesitate. Sometimes they turn away. Not because they want to, but because it hurts. And in that moment, something changes. The place that should feel safe starts to feel like a challenge, a struggle, something to avoid. And then there's where you put it. Maybe it's near their food. Convenient, easy, everything in one place. But imagine sitting down to eat, right next to a toilet. The smell, the feeling, that constant awareness in the back of your mind. Cats feel that too. Deep down, they are wired to separate these spaces. Eating is safety, cleanliness, survival. And when those lines blur, it creates confusion, discomfort, even anxiety. They might eat less, move differently, act in ways you don't fully understand. And you'll wonder why. But the truth is, they're trying to tell you something. Just not in a way you're used to hearing. And then comes the part that breaks that quiet trust even more. Noise. A washing machine roaring to life. A sudden vibration. A loud, unpredictable sound right when they feel most vulnerable. To you, it's just background noise. To them, it's an earthquake. Their body freezes. Their instincts kick in. And suddenly, the place they're supposed to feel safe becomes the last place they want to be. So they hold it in. They wait. They search for somewhere, anywhere, that feels quieter, safer, more predictable. And all of this is happening right in front of you. Every single day. Not because you don't care, but because no one ever showed you what it feels like, from their side. And this is just the beginning. Now imagine this. Your cat finally gathers the courage to step inside that box again. They circle once, twice, trying to find the right spot. Their paws press down into the litter, searching for something that feels safe. But instead of comfort, they feel something sharp, unnatural, almost painful. You can't feel it. To you, it looks soft, clean, even premium. Maybe it smells nice too. Fresh, floral, pleasant. But your cat isn't experiencing any of that. To them, it's overwhelming. Every step feels wrong, like walking on something they don't trust. Their paws are sensitive, far more than you realize. What feels like tiny grains to you can feel like rough, jagged edges to them. And when that discomfort repeats, day after day, they begin to hesitate again. Not because they're being difficult, but because their body remembers. And then there's the smell. That nice scent you chose so carefully. Lavender, lemon, something meant to make your home feel clean and welcoming. But your cat doesn't smell it the way you do. For them it's intense, overpowering, inescapable. Imagine being locked in a small room filled with strong perfume. Every breath heavy. Every second suffocating. No escape, no relief, just that constant wave hitting your senses again and again. That's what your cat feels. And here's the part most people never realize. Your cat depends on scent to understand their world. It's how they feel secure. It's how they know, this is my space. I'm safe here. But when you cover that space with artificial fragrance, you erase their identity from it. Suddenly it doesn't smell like them anymore. Feels unfamiliar, unsafe. And that quiet anxiety starts to grow. Now think about this. What if they go to the box, and it's already dirty? Not just a little, but enough that the smell lingers. Enough that it feels used, unclean, uncomfortable. You might think, I'll clean it later. It's not that bad. But to your cat, it is. Cats are naturally clean creatures. They don't just prefer cleanliness, they need it. In the wild, strong smells can attract danger, predators, threats. So when their litter box smells too strong, too used, their instincts kick in. And those instincts don't say, wait for it to be cleaned. They say, find somewhere else. That's when accidents start happening. Not out of rebellion, not out of spite, but out of survival. And then there's something even deeper, something most people completely overlook. Choice. What happens when your cat needs to go, but the box is occupied? Or it doesn't feel right today? Or something about it just makes them pause? If there's only one option, they're stuck. Imagine living in a house with only one bathroom. No backup. No alternative. And every time you need it, there's a chance it won't feel right, won't be available, won't be safe. That pressure builds. That stress grows. But when there are options, everything changes. They relax. They feel in control. They don't panic. Without that freedom, they start creating their own solutions. Quietly. Secretly. A corner of the room. A soft rug. A hidden space. And suddenly you're confused. Frustrated. Wondering what went wrong. But from their side, they were just trying to cope. And then there's the feeling beneath their paws again. Not sharp this time, but unstable. Too much litter. It shifts under them, moves like sand, like something they can't quite stand on. Every step uncertain. Every movement slightly off balance. Or too little. Where they try to dig, and hit the hard bottom too soon. That instinct to bury, to cover, to complete the ritual, interrupted. It seems like such a small detail. But for them it's everything. Because that act of digging, covering, finishing, it's not just behavior. It's instinct. It's relief. And when that process is disturbed, something inside them stays unsettled. Then comes something that feels harmless. Even helpful. Plastic. A simple liner. Easy cleanup. Less mess. More convenience. But your cat doesn't see convenience. They feel the shift beneath them. The crinkle. The unnatural movement. And then one moment, their claw catches. Just slightly. But enough. Enough to trigger panic. In that instant they're not in a litter box anymore. They're trapped. Their body reacts before their mind can catch up. Heart racing. Muscles tense. A desperate urge to escape something they don't understand. And even if nothing happens, even if they get free, that feeling stays with them. The next time they approach the box, they remember. Not clearly, not logically, but emotionally. And they hesitate again. Everything begins to connect now, doesn't it? The hesitation. The accidents. The quiet changes in behavior. They're not random. They're responses to a space that no longer feels safe. And what makes it even harder is that your cat is still the same on the outside. Still sitting near you. Still watching you. Still trusting you in every other moment. But in this one small part of their life, they're struggling. Alone. And they have no way to explain it to you. But there's still more you haven't seen yet. By now you can almost feel it, can't you? That quiet tension your cat carries. The hesitation you never noticed before. The small moments that didn't seem important but suddenly mean everything. And yet, there are still a few things left. The ones that slowly break your cat's sense of safety in ways that are almost invisible. It starts with something you might never question. Cleaning. You scrub the box. You use strong cleaners. Maybe something with a sharp, fresh smell. Something that makes you feel like everything is finally hygienic. But to your cat, that smell isn't clean. It's threatening. Because certain chemical scents don't just mask odors. They mimic something else entirely. Something your cat instinctively reacts to. Another cat. Another presence. Another territory. So when your cat approaches their litter box and smells that unfamiliar, sharp scent, their mind doesn't say, "This is clean." It says, "This isn't mine anymore." And in that moment, confusion sets in. Why does their space feel like it belongs to someone else? Why does it feel like they've been replaced? That quiet sense of ownership, gone. And with it, their comfort. Then there's something even more unsettling. Change. You move the litter box. Just a little. Maybe to make space. Maybe to try something new. It doesn't seem like a big deal. But to your cat, it is. Because cats don't just live in your home. They map it. Every corner, every pathway, every safe space. Carefully stored in their mind like a silent blueprint of their world. And right in that map is the one place they rely on without thinking. Their bathroom. When you move it even slightly, that map breaks. They walk to where it used to be. Pause. Look around. Something feels wrong. Their body tells them they're in the right place, but it's gone. Now they have to search, relearn, second guess. And with that confusion comes stress. Because something that was once certain is now unpredictable. And unpredictability is what cats fear the most. Then there's the quiet tension between cats themselves. If you have more than one, you might think placing all the boxes in one area is simple, efficient, easy to manage. But to them, it becomes something else entirely. A shared space. A watch space. A space where one cat might enter while another is already there. And in those moments, something shifts. Dominance. Fear. Unspoken rules. One cat waits. Another guards. And the one who feels weaker, more vulnerable, starts to avoid that space altogether. Not because they want to, but because they don't feel safe. So they look for somewhere else. Somewhere quieter. More private. More theirs. And again, you see the result but not the cause. Now think about temperature. A cold floor. A damp basement. A place that feels slightly uncomfortable even to you. To your cat, it's amplified. Because when they step into that space, they're already vulnerable. Already exposed. And if that moment is paired with physical discomfort, cold seeping into their body, stiffness in their joints, they remember. And they avoid it. Especially your older cat. The one who's been with you for years. The one who still comes when you call, still curls up beside you, still trusts you without hesitation. But their body has changed. Their joints ache. Their movements are slower. And that simple step into the litter box, the one you never think twice about, has become something they dread. They try. But sometimes, they just can't. And instead of seeing it as pain, it's easy to mistake it for behavior. But it's not. It's discomfort. It's struggle. It's silent suffering. And then there's the simplest thing of all. Light. Too dark and they can't see. Every shadow feels alive. Every movement uncertain. Their instincts stay alert when they should feel calm. Too bright and they feel exposed. Like they're on display. Vulnerable in a way they can't escape. So even something as small as lighting shapes how safe they feel in that moment. And finally, consistency. The one thing your cat depends on more than anything else. Routine. Predictability. Knowing that certain things will always stay the same. When that's broken, even in small ways, it creates a ripple. A quiet unease that grows over time. And all of this, every single detail, builds into one simple truth. Your cat isn't being difficult. They're responding. To the space you created. To the signals you didn't know you were sending. To a world that feels slightly off, in ways they can't fix on their own. But here's the part that matters most. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Because now you can see what they feel. You can notice the hesitation before it becomes a problem. You can adjust the space before it becomes stress. You can give them something they've been quietly asking for all along. Safety, comfort, trust. And maybe, just maybe, the next time your cat looks at you, it won't just be familiar. It'll be different, softer, calmer. Like they're finally saying without a single sound, "You understand me now." And once you reach that point, you'll never look at that small corner of your home the same way again.